Hello guys, welcome to the conversation. Yeah, I'm suffering from night fever, so I can't really talk as much as I can't really open my mouth as much as I would have loved to because I'm in a little pain. But my village people don't get too excited. The God I serve has a habit of fixing me up. So the coronavirus has forced a lot of children to go back home, and this means extra and unexpected free time on their hands. Teenagers are a group of people that are found within this group of people that have been forced to retreat back home, and they're experiencing puberty about now. So you all know it, puberty comes with its own set of emotions and confusions, and puberty has the tendency to make us want to try new things like sex. Yes, like what we're seeing on Z World, on My TV, and every other thing that cable TV has to offer. And because nobody's really talking to these children about sex education, nobody's really giving them the 411. And because they also feel like we're big enough and we can try out things as much as we like, as long as we're not caught, it's kind of giving them make feel that they have the responsibility to try out these things and find out these things for themselves because they're still very impressionable, because they're still at a stage where they would believe almost anything that any elder or even their peers tell them. And because we're still living in a time where sex education is being tossed between parents and teachers back and forth because nobody wants to talk about it. It's uncomfortable. Well, today we're going to try throwing the ice even a little tiny bit. Hey guys, my name is Sylvia and this is Conversations with Sylvia. Welcome back. By the way, if this is your first time on the channel, please hit the subscribe button and join the conversation. Ouch. I'm going to be fine. Thanks. Okay. Nobody asked, but I know that you care. So let me start with the question. How many of us really got the 411 from our parents when we were growing up about sex? And I mean the real deal. I'm not talking about these things about cassava, banana, umbrella, and yeah, you'd be surprised the kind of euphemism that our parents give us in a bid to teach us about sex. But a lot of us were not blessed to grow up in a home where sex education was on the table. And I use the word blessed because sex education is a very essential yet very absent part of growing children of upbringing in this country. Is generally not something that people talk about. Everybody's like, you're too young for this, don't ask me this. Or they most of the time they just scare you into not asking. And then you're forced to go and ask your peers because God forbid and God help us if they have to listen to their friends and find out information from their phones and all of that because you know that they're going to watch porn on those phones, right? Let's not pretend. I mean, that's what's happening. We grew up in our time, TV, just having access to TV was a very big deal, and phones were like a big person's thing. But all these children have phones now. All of them know how to download, all of them know how to go on Google and type whatever it is that you want and get access to this information. And you probably don't want to risk them trying out these things on their own and experimenting. At the very least, they should be making an informed choice if they decide to have sex at this time. Rather than tell children what sex really is, and rather than tell children the 411 and give them information, true information regarding it, we find ourselves most of the time telling girls and boys things like, don't look, if you look at a boy, you get pregnant. If you sit on a boy's bed, you get pregnant. Don't ever let a boy see your pants. Now, I have to give it to the parents. This all come from a good place, right? These are good intentions, and they're saying all these things with the intention of protecting us from ourselves and from society and from getting pregnant and every other bad thing that comes with it. But what these children are really listening to is the fact of what you're saying. They're taking your word for it. If I actually sit on a boy's bed, I'm going to get pregnant. If I actually look at him for this length of time, I'm actually going to get pregnant. Communication is not happening. They're not getting what you want them to be getting. Rather than tell children that if you sit in a boy's bed, or a teenager that if you sit in a boy's bed you're going to get pregnant, tell them that if you have sex with a boy you're going to get pregnant. Don't tell them that if you look at a boy, if a boy sees your pants, you're going to get pregnant. Tell them that if you have sex with a boy you're going to get pregnant. Because what is going to happen is the day that she goes to that house, sits on that bed, comes back home and she's not pregnant, she's going to be feeling like Superwoman, and the next time that she finds herself in that house she would probably want to go on to having sex because sitting on the bed didn't get her pregnant as well. And I know that these things sound ridiculous, and you're thinking, how can you even think that if you really sit in a boy's bed, you're going to get pregnant? But no, they sound ridiculous to you and I, maybe, but not ridiculous to them, because they're really at the stage of believing everything you say. I always liken it to the other side of sellotape, right? Every and sticky, and everything you say is kind of getting stuck in their brains, and they're actually believing these things. Let's be honest. When you were told these things growing up, didn't you believe some of these things? Well, I think that is the same for them as well. I know that it is the same for them as well. And you need to tell them it you need to tell them what sex is. You need to tell them that sex is penetration of the penis into the vagina. Don't tell them some joking story about some two people in the villages and all of that. Don't try to joke about it. You need to talk to them. You need to tell them what horny is and what it is that they're experiencing when they wake up one day, or maybe after watching a movie and start feeling like they want to be touched, they want to be kissed, and eventually have sex. I remember this famous topic of human reproduction in biology and human biology, and the whole class was shy. Everybody was laughing uncontrollably just because they were uncomfortable, and they were cringing in themselves when the teacher stood there for 45 to 1 hour talking about genitals. It's very uncomfortable, but it's a conversation that you have to have, because you cannot risk these children or these teenagers hearing it from their peers who don't know any better. The teachers teach what they can within the curriculum, but that's not enough. You need to have that one-on-one conversation with him or with her, and you need to tell her that that guy that you stand under electric poles with, biting your finger, and of rooting grass that may not even be there when they're talking to you and laughing and smiling. You need to take your tiny behind home and watch movies and enjoy the blessings of being able to access cable TV at any time that you like. You actually need to have that one-on-one conversation, because teachers obviously do a generic talk without any particular specificities to who this child may be and what she likes and doesn't like. But you as a parent, you as an elder, you as a sibling to this particular kid obviously knows much more about him or her than other people would do, and you would definitely know, give him or her generic information. It is important rather than us looking and pointing children in the quarter that get pregnant, rather than us pointing and making slangs like, oh, they were not brought up well, bad upbringing, the mother didn't raise them, the mother is a loose woman. And rather than us judging and pointing, we can be part of the solution rather than being part of the stigma. Let's be honest, a lot of us, like these girls and like these boys, did not grow up in homes where sex education was very present. And so we narrowly escaped getting pregnant as well. We narrowly escaped being parents as well. In most schools, this human reproduction topic always leads into a teacher advising children about sex and pregnancy and all of that, and teenage parenthood. And in most schools as well, this lesson takes place in Form 4, Form 5. A lot of people become teenage parents before they even get there. So you can't wait. You can't leave it on. You can't wait that they should reach Form 5 and then hear it from the teachers. You have to make sure as early as possible that these children know about this, that they have this information. What I'm stressing on is that they understand. It's not about frightening people into running away from something. Let them understand. As a parent, you need to make sure that your children have sex education, because we owe it to ourselves and to our kids to be able to raise children that understand their sexuality enough to be accountable and responsible for it. And we also owe it to ourselves to be able to raise children that we are going to help prevent the mistakes that we have already experienced ourselves. And you can't wait for them to come to you. You have to go to them, because a lot of them may not even understand that this is something that they need to know. A lot of them may be scared, and a lot of them may not understand how important it is that they have this information in their head. So you need to go to them and tell them, hey, listen, there are a few more things that you have to learn about your body and how it works and what is going to happen and all of this to them. You can't be the elder that passes and sees that, and then tomorrow when you see her pregnant, you're like, no, you don't care, Billy. What did you do? We have to make sure that we're part of the solution and not part of the stigma we have to actively make sure that we are putting all our hands on deck, that we are putting all our hands into the solution, into the problem of stopping these children, of preventing these children from experiencing the kind of mistakes that we experience in our time because we didn't hear or because we didn't know this. As long as you're elder, as long as you're older than another person, you have the responsibility of making sure that they live a better life than you. Getting pregnant is not the only effect, it's not the only consequence of sex. There are other things that your body may not be ready for if your brain does not fully understand sex. And for mothers of sons, it's important that you make them understand that parenthood is not exactly a joke, because most of the time, of course, the parents of teenage parents get to bear the weight of bringing another child into the world before they're even ready for it. Now to the ladies, Pity says, and all of that. When did we grow old? Now to you, ouch, we have to be extra careful. So far, the guys have been going scot-free because there's nothing on the man that to show that he's a parent. But we are the ones that get 9 long months to prove to the world that we messed up. And 9 months does not go by the way it goes in Nigerian movies. It's not. 9 months is one day after the other, 24 long hours, 7 long days in a week, to prove to the whole world that yes, I've had sex, I'm pregnant, and my life is going to be changed forever. I know that it looks easier in the movies. You get pregnant, a rich man comes and marries you, takes you to a mansion, you guys live on the island or on the beach for the rest of your life, and everybody's happy. In real life, that doesn't happen. In real life, God help you, but you may probably have to stop your education to become a mother to that child. In real life, when you have a baby, you stop being a child and you become an adult. You're forced to grow up before your time the minute that you get a baby. In real life, abortions really kill people. In real life, abortions really rupture wombs. In real life, birth control and after sex pills may not always work. Yes. Maybe you're telling yourself, oh, I'm just going to have sex and I'll take Putinol 72 hours and all these after sex pills and all this birth control. I'm going to take them. Everything's going to be just fine. Not necessarily, honey. There are people that have taken these things and still gotten pregnant in spite of the drugs. Now, what I'm about to say is not statistics or scientific in any ways, but have you noticed that there are lots of second-borns that were not exactly planned? No offense to second-borns out there, but I've met a good number of people that tell you, oh, I had my second baby when I wasn't ready. Even people that are married, they tell you, I had my second baby before I was ready. I took birth control, and we had said that we'd give birth to a baby like 2 years after or 5 years after, and then she came, and then he came. The point I'm trying to make is that birth control pills don't work the same for everybody. It may work for another person and it may work differently for you because our bodies are different. And just because you have decided that you don't want to have a baby, your body may not respect that choice. So don't think that every drug is going to react in you the same way it is supposed to react when it was made in the lab or wherever. So we have to be extra careful. And I know, and as parents, I know that you're taking that phone and you're going through porn sites and everything's looking cool. I know that you're feeling like every kid out there that's having sex is so cool and all of that, but not necessarily. Okay? I know it sounds cliche and it looks like you're going to be the uncool one in the group if you say that you're not going to have it and all of that. But the reason why a lot of kids are always being prevented from having sex is because there is nothing that is remotely easy about any consequence of sex. Because no child is ready for the consequences of sex. Like I said before, you have to grow up before your time. And you become a parent once you have a child. You stop being a child. You give up your childhood the moment that that pregnancy strip reads plus or positive. And that's not a decision that you want to take because you were careless. That's not a decision you want to take because you wanted to feel cool or to feel hip or to fit in with the rest of the gang. Very important that you find someone in your community or your circle or your church or your family, a grandser, grandfair, parent, whoever it is, that is open and honest enough to talk to you like you're not a 5-year-old, like you're not a kid. Find somebody. And one last thing I want to say is you have to be open. You need to talk to somebody about what you're feeling. We know puberty comes with a lot of feelings, and you're going to look at this boy you like and imagine things with him. You're going to be feeling a lot of things at the same time. It's almost like somebody has connected an amplifier to everything in your brain and your heart, and you're just feeling a lot of things at once. You need to be able to talk to somebody about it and find somebody that you're comfortable with to talk to about these feelings. Your friends should be the last people on earth that you ask anything from, because they don't know any better. It's important that you think about these things, and it's important that you do these things. If you have any questions, please ask in the comment section, and hopefully I have enough information to answer. I'm also ready to do more research of course, things that I may not know as well. It is important. There's a lot of information about sex and body and health on bodytalk.com. You should check it out and get information and articles about it as well. You can also check out information and articles surrounding body and health on Google, and on Google Play there are books that you can download and read. There's also an app called My Health. My Health is MA. I'm going to put the link down below. It's actually it was developed by Cameroonians, proudly 237, and the app supports doctors online and offline to be able to talk to you about health and of course your sex as well. For ladies, it will be very important that you learn about your menstrual cycle, because it's a very, very big part of sexual education for ladies. It is for boys as well, but the first person it affects is you, a lady, so it's very important that you learn it. We're living in a time of a lot of access to information, so you have to take advantage of that. You have to take total advantage of the fact that you can learn anything, you can know anything you want to know. Even if your parents have refused vehemently to talk to you about it, you have to try to find out these things on your own. Remember, take your little behind home and don't listen to anything that guy is standing there telling you under that red bulb under electricity pole, telling you, oh baby, I love you. Guess what? That guy doesn't know any better. He doesn't know anything about love. And if the guy that is talking to you is a supposed adult and he's much older than you, run away faster from that type, because he only wants to destroy your life. You have a very long time to be heartbroken and to be lied to and to believe and to lie to other people about love. Don't start early. What is yours is coming to you when it comes to this relationship thing. Okay? Parents, it is important that we talk to children, nieces, nephews, all of us, we're in this together. Let's get the word out there. It's important, it's primordial, it's necessary. How else do I have to put it? Okay, I'm going to see you next week. Until then, be kind, stay safe. Corona is real. All right, ouch, that hurt. Bye. Please make sure you subscribe.